Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away.
Well, I was awfully small there, wasn't I? Welcome in, guys. Welcome to tonight's live. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are having a good day. I'm going to lower my seat a little bit down. But welcome in. If you're new here, hello, hi, welcome. My name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. And the rest of you guys already know that. So welcome to tonight's live. It is Sunday, the 23rd of March. Really already? Oh my gosh. I feel like this year's going by too quick. It's just going by way too quick for me. But yeah, we're almost at the end of March already. That means we are 3 days into spring. And if it doesn't feel like spring where you are, let me know. Because I saw Ladybug say in the chat that she was getting snow. So let me know if you guys are still experiencing snow. Because we're not here. It's been very rainy today. It's been a crappy day. So, hey, Autumn. Hey, Mike. Good to see ya. Hey, Mary Beth. Hey, Ladybug. Oh, I guess I click on your names. I guess I click on the names there. Hey, Dawn. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Shelly. Good evening. This is a scary case. Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Hey, Mandy. I'm not very fast, am I? Hey, Sailor. And I agree with you, Mandy. There have been there have been a lot of drownings there. So, hey, Naomi. I just don't know why they haven't been able to find her body. Well, thank you, Mary Beth. That's very nice of you. I like the color blue. I actually got a pair of pants. I think they're like the same color today, but they're They're like wide leg, and I'm not sure if they look like scrubs or not. I asked Vincent tonight. I was like, do these look like scrubs? Because I grabbed the wrong ones. I was looking for a different pair, but that's okay. Hey, Princess, welcome in. Well, it's good to see you guys. Yeah, March flew by. Like, my brother's birthday is the 16th. And that's why I was like, wait, I feel like it was just his birthday. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Hey, Crystal, welcome in. We'll let a couple people kind of come in and we will get started. We're going to talk about Sudiksha tonight. We covered her case last week, and then we got on to Idaho because everything was coming out of Idaho. And we didn't get back to her case. And so Fox Nation actually did a special on her. And I was going to play that after we go through like the timeline and get kind of caught up on what's been kind of going on in her case. So yeah. Okay. The older you get, the faster it goes. Yeah. The faster everything goes. Right. And it is the faster, Oh, look at that. Well, happy birthday to your son and happy anniversary. How many years, DM? I'm curious. Hey, Yoga Mama. It's good to see ya. Hey, Stephanie. It's good to see you too. It's good to see you guys. So we'll go ahead. We'll get started, and I'm sure some people will come in as they come in. If not, we'll have a small live, and it'll be nice and quaint. I have my windows open right in front of me. I'm about to close those really quick. Let me just close my blinds, or at least close the curtain part. Like, I feel like people could see me. I'll close the curtains. The blinds are like, oh, yeah. They're kind of far away. They're not like far away, but they're literally right here, but it's just hard for me to get to them. So, hey, Michael, welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. 27 years married, and your son turned 24. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That is so awesome. My parents were together for 30 years when my dad, when he passed, and they would have been together, forever if they could have been. Well, they are together forever now, but they would have been forever here on earth with us as well. No one else could put up with my dad like my mom could. So this is Sudiksha. If you're not aware of the case, we'll go through the timeline and go through a little bit of backstory before we get into tonight's, coverage of what is going on with Fox Nation and what they put out. It's so funny too, because I got Fox Nation back when Idaho started because Nancy Grace worked for Fox Nation, and we couldn't get any of the podcast or like any of the videos of hers unless you like signed up for their like, $8 thing or whatever it was. I don't know what it was for. I think it was just so I could go watch Fox Nation. So I kept meaning to cancel it. And then after we were done watching it, because she left, Fox Nation, and there wasn't really much on there to watch. And so I finally, like last month, canceled it. And then this month I was like, oh, I need it again. Because I went over there and it was just funny. I giggled at myself because I'm like, oh gosh, Tanya, of course you would cancel it finally. And then this came up and I saw this on there and I was like, oh, that looks really good. So I wanted to show it to you guys. But the search for 20-year-old college student Sudiksha Konanki, I can't say her last name. I'm sorry. I can say it in my head. Konanki, who went missing while on vacation in the Dominican Republic last week, continues. Here is a timeline of the developments that, according to officials, occurred before, during, and after her disappearance. So most of this stuff we know, but we're going to read through it anyway. Monday on March 3rd, Konanki arrived in the Dominican Republic with 5 other female students from the University of Pittsburgh. According to the sheriff's office in Loudoun County, Virginia, where her family lives. So she's originally from Loudoun County, and she goes to school at the, University of Pittsburgh. So they went to Punta Cana, and they were there on March 3rd. So Wednesday, March 5th, a power outage started at the hotel at 1:27 a.m. The facility's operator, Rue Hotels and Resorts, said power was restored to 70% of the facility later that morning, 2 hours after the outage began, and was fully restored by 2:13 a.m. on March 6th, the company said. So maybe that did get them to kind of all go out to the beach. But early Thursday, March 6th, Konanki was seen on surveillance footage drinking with 5 women and 2 men in the Republica hotel lobby in Punta Cana. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation tells CNN, and we even saw it on video too, that they were drinking in the facility, like in the hotel. So then at 4:15, March 6th, she was last seen on surveillance camera with 7 other people entering the beach. So we saw that video as well. It was 5 women and then 2 guys were going to the beach. Around Okay, I want to make sure of it right. Around 4:55 a.m. on March 6th, surveillance cameras captured 5 women and 1 man leaving the beach. Sources close to the investigation told CNN. So Konanki appears to have stayed behind with the man in his 20s. A man investigators believe was the last person to see her, according to law enforcement source familiar with the investigation. And then at 8:55 a.m. on March 6th, surveillance video shows the man in his 20s leaving the beach area, 2 sources close to the investigation said. The 5 college friends around 4 p.m. that she traveled with, that's when they reported her missing. So they didn't report her missing until 4 p.m. the next day. I don't know if they thought maybe they all knew that she was, hanging out with, a guy the night before. Maybe they thought, hey, maybe she's still with them. Maybe she's having a really good time. And they didn't think to report her missing. But I heard that they went out on an excursion and did some things that day as a group. I don't know why they wouldn't be wait, we're missing one person. We shouldn't be going out on these excursions and doing all this stuff if we're all supposed to be together doing these things, She doesn't seem like the type of person that would stand her friends up. So at 5:43, Konanki's father filed a missing persons report with the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, after which the office engaged with the U.S. State Department and federal law enforcement to reach out to the Dominican Republic National Police. On Monday, March the 10th, the Dominican Republic National Police said in a post on X that they were interviewing people who had been with Konanki and her friend and employees of the hotel where they were staying, and were working on an exhaustive analysis of surveillance footage. Exhaustive. So it kind of stops there, but I can give you the rest of the updates. That's where I'm going to give you. We're going to start with. Let's see. I had videos to go with both of these, so let me make sure. We'll go this way. Okay. So let me go back here. Now they were calling the person that she was last seen with a person of interest. Hold on one second. Let me see. One second. I think my tabs got mixed up. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, it'll be okay. But they're calling him a witness now instead of a person of interest. People really switch it up real quick on us, Oh no, princess. You got it back though. Hey, Karina. Welcome in, everybody. I was on another page, so I couldn't see it. Hey, Tennessee cow. I couldn't see what was going on. Okay, so we're going to listen to this real quick. It's only 2 minutes, 30 seconds. and it's him speaking in court. The court, I was going to play like the court audio or court video, but it's not when they were like recording it, they didn't record any audio at all. It's just them like walking around. You can see them talking, but you can't hear them. So this will be and we'll see what they say about this one.
Turn now to the American college student who vanished on spring break. The last person believed to see her testified in court yesterday as he fights to be allowed to return to the U.S. El Reshef has been in the Dominican Republic, and she's got the latest. Good morning, Ariel.
Good morning to you, George. Let's remember, Joshua Rebe is not a suspect, and he told the judge he just wants to go home to his family, but that court hearing turning into a total frenzy.
In front of a swarm of cameras, Joshua Rebe pleading for his freedom in a Dominican court. The 22-year-old from Iowa turning to face the wall of media before telling the judge, I can't go anywhere, and I really want to be able to go home, talk to my family, give them hugs, tell them I miss them. I understand I'm here to help, but it's been 10 days and I can't leave. Authorities have held his passport since March 8th. Shortly after his testimony, the judge ruling that Rebe is free to move around the Dominican Republic, but deferring a ruling on his passport, meaning he has to stay in the country until the next hearing in 10 days. After court, his father asked how his son is coping.
In respect to Sudiksha's family. Are you able to take him back home? I don't even know where he's at.
Overnight, the law firm representing Rebe saying, we extend our heartfelt solidarity to the family of Sudiksha Konanki during these difficult times, joining in the collective hope for her safe return as soon as possible.
Rebe is believed by police to be the last to have seen Konanki, the 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student who vanished from the beach outside their hotel. But he is not a suspect, and authorities say he has been cooperating as a witness. His attorneys arguing he's been constantly surveilled by police. Konanki's family returning to their home in suburban Washington, D.C.
Well, the reason why the dude was getting so much heat was because he had like 3 different stories. I mean, I understand if you've had some alcohol in you, and that's what it's sounding like he had like way too much to drink, and he couldn't remember exactly what happened. But you would think that would sober you up. If you caught a big wave and it took you under and you saved this girl and you got her up to shore, then you just pass out on a chair. I don't know. It's very weird. I guess the worst we could say, I mean, I guess we can just say he's not very gentlemanlike.
They have now requested that
that could be because of his age too.
Their daughter legally dead, acknowledging she likely
and the
drowned
alcohol
without foul play.
Rebe saying during his courthouse testimony before the Konankis left Punta Cana, they gave me hugs goodbye, and her mother gave me a hug and said thank you for saving my daughter the first time. It was really tough.
And Rebe has not been charged with any crime after that nearly 5-hour hearing. It appears he may have to spend at least 10 more days here in the Dominican Republic. Meanwhile, sources are telling us that the search here is winding down. Guys.
And our hearts certainly go out to the Konanki family. Ariel, thank you.
It's crazy how they can just stop the search like that, I mean, I guess if she just gets taken out with the tide, but how long would that take for you to be taken out to where they wouldn't be able to find you? I'm going to have to look into that. I'm really curious. The beach and nighttime don't mix. Yeah, Mike, they don't. We've always went to the beach though. Like when we went to like Myrtle Beach and stuff, we would go there at night, and like I don't think we ever swam. I don't think we were dumb enough to get in into the water, but we would walk along the beach, and the water would hit our feet and stuff like that. I remember doing that in Florida. But I remember both of those places, and it's just like, just something that you just did. but I never would like get in there, especially at night. Like that is pretty scary if you think about it. I mean, you don't know what's in the ocean. Like crazy things happen. You know, crazy things just happen in the ocean. And I mean, what is it like 9? It's not 9. It's like 70% of our oceans are not even like been explored before. Like we don't even know what's over there. Like I'm cool with not knowing ever. So this is going to just be some new details involving Joshua Rebe. He basically got to go home. So he's back over in the United States. And I think he's from Iowa.
Joshua Rebe spent days at a resort just back there on the Punta Cana coast. His lawyers say for much of that time, he was being followed by local police. But less than 24 hours after that Dominican judge's ruling, Rebe was on a flight back to the United States, officially ending what he says was a days-long detainment. Our team saw Rebe and the man believed to be Rebe's father walking into the airport in the Dominican capital of Santo Domingo yesterday. At times, they were wearing baseball caps, face masks. Rebe, even at times, wearing sunglasses. His return to U.S. soil came after Tuesday's contentious court hearing, which ended without Rebe getting his passport back. His lawyers say that it was confiscated, while an open court prosecutor said they didn't have his passport and that they didn't even know where it was. And yet, after the hearing, prosecutors offered to give the passport back to Rebe, according to Rebe's attorney. His departure from this country comes after he testified that he'd been detained for over a week while investigators repeatedly questioned him in connection with the disappearance of University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki. Remember, Rebe was never called a suspect in that case. Meanwhile, Konanki's parents say they're coming to terms with the fact that they believe their daughter drowned. Police say that the parents sent a letter requesting that she be declared dead. And while Joshua Rebe today is waking up back in the United States, the judge here in the Dominican Republic did set another hearing in his case for March 28th. But at this point, it's not clear if he would return for that hearing.
Okay. I was trying to read the chat. Yeah, very, very complex. Yeah, you're right, absolutely right about that. I do not know how to pronounce his name or her name. I'm sorry. So we're just going to say the Konanki. The parents of Sudiksha came out and they said respectfully request the legal declaration of death of our beloved daughter, Sudiksha, a 20-year-old student at the University of Pittsburgh. Tragically went missing on March 6, 2025 during a spring break trip to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Following an extensive search, Dominican authorities have concluded that Sudiksha is believed to have drowned. Her clothes were discovered on a beach near where she was last seen. The individual last seen with her is cooperating with the investigation and no evidence of foul play has been found. Given these circumstances and after much deliberation, we request that the police department proceed with the legal declaration of her death. We understand that certain legal procedures must be followed and are prepared to comply with any necessary formalities or documentation. Initiating this process will allow our family to begin the grieving process and address matters related to her absence. While no declaration can truly erase our grief, we trust that this step will bring some closure and enable us to honor her memory. We appreciate your attention to this deeply painful matter, and we are grateful for your support. Should you require any further information or documentation, please contact us. Now, they wrote this 12 days after she went missing. Would you want to have your kid declared dead not even 2 weeks after? I don't know. I don't think I would. I would want I feel like if you had her declared dead, they would quit the investigation, right? They'd quit. They say, oh, her parents said they declared her dead. You know, we should declare her dead. Guess we don't have to look for her anymore. Like, I would just feel like I would want to know more. I would want to know way more. Even if I had to go out there with a paddle boat myself, paddling with my wife or my husband, paddle with me, babe. I'm not the only one. I don't think I could do that. Now, if there were going to be like other things that would open up, like for her, then I would, but I don't see anything opening up. Like, when I guess someone's declared dead, like the Cold Case Foundation could come in, but they would have to be declared dead for years and years and years. They don't come in just like after a couple weeks. So that's not even considered cold. To me, it's not considered a cold case. But the reasons given is to address for the grieving process and address matters related to her absence. Like, maybe it's something that they do in their religion. That could be it. Maybe like, what is it? I could be totally wrong on this, and this is what I'm thinking, but is it the Jewish religion that you have to be buried within like 48 hours or something like that and no autopsies? I know there's like a couple of religions that are like that, that you like are buried within a certain amount of time. Like my religion, I'm a Christian. They keep my body there, I guess, for a little while. They wanted to and do testing, but some of these religions, they don't. They have like a sacred burial, and that's just what they have and what they do. So maybe something like, I don't know, And like to be pronounced declared dead in the United States, I think it's 7 years or something like that. You have to be like missing for. Oh, okay, that's what it is. I think it's because they have to be buried within so many like hours. It's hard to do like an autopsy. Maybe that's what it is or something. Oh, cremated. I don't know. Well, let's see what this has to say. We'll read through this. Is this the one I wanted to read? Yeah. It says an international investigation for missing University of Pittsburgh student Sudiksha Konanki presses on. Her family now believes that the 20-year-old drowned, officials said Tuesday. When was this written? Let's see. This was written March 18th. So 5 days ago. Konanki vanished from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, this month while on a spring break trip with friends. She was last seen on March 6th, and the person believed to have last seen her alive told investigators she had struggled in the ocean before disappearing. So this is the second story. This is the second story. I don't know what story he's going with, because I thought he was going with the story that he pulled her out and then he went and passed out on the bench, and she probably maybe she went back into the water somehow. But this one is like she was struggling in the ocean before disappearing. That was the last time he saw her. So to me, that makes it sound like he was still in the ocean too. Sudiksha's family has expressed their belief that she drowned. Sheriff Michael Chapman of Loudoun County, Virginia, where her family lives, said in a statement, while a final decision to make such a declaration rests with authorities in the Dominican Republic, we will support the Konanki family in every way possible as we continue to review the evidence and information made available to us in the course of this investigation. That guy, though, in Loudoun County, that sheriff, he's like a dog with a bone. He really wants this to be something, I feel like. So Konanki's father, Subbarayudu, I know that's so wrong. So I'm so sorry. Konanki had urged authorities. Let's see what it says, actually, the speech. The speech thing will tell me. Subbarayudu. Konanki had urged authorities to expand the search beyond the water after her body wasn't found in an initial search. He asked them to consider possibilities other than drowning, including kidnapping. Okay, but within 12 days, changed her mind from a kidnapping to drowning? Her family sent a letter to Dominican authorities asking that she be declared dead. Dominican Republic National Police spokesperson Diego Pesquera said, according to a report from ABC News late Monday. Authorities in the Dominican Republic did not immediately respond to inquiries Tuesday from USA Today, but Konanki arrived in the country on March 3rd in the early morning hours. On March 6th, surveillance footage shows Konanki drinking with a group in the lobby of the Rio Republica Hotel where she was staying. The footage showed her with a man identified as Joshua Rebe, a student at a Minnesota university she met while on the trip, while the rest of the group walked towards the beach. Rebe told investigators he and Konanki went into the ocean together and a large wave dragged them away from shore. According to a transcript of his interview with police obtained by U.S. and Dominican news outlets, Rebe said he carried Konanki back to the shallower water and saw her walk knee-high in the direction she had left her clothes before he vomited and later passed out. He said he thought she had taken her clothes and left, but he did not see her again. Rebe had been considered a person of interest, not a suspect, in Konanki's disappearance. According to the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, officials seized his passport and have held him under surveillance at the hotel since Konanki vanished. And in the letter to the Dominican police from Konanki's parents, which also was obtained by Fox News, they wrote that initiating the process of declaring her dead would not ease their grief, but would bring some closure and enable us to honor her memory. Okay. So we'll watch the short video about them real quick and see what they say about it on here. We're not going to watch all of this. We're just going to watch like the first few minutes. Yeah.
And a
Like
woman
believed
to be, or the man rather, believed to be the last to have been seen with that missing Loudoun County student Sudiksha Konanki appearing in court. This is video from the Dominican Republic. This is coming in the last hour. That's Joshua Rebe trying to get access to his passport. Remember, his passport was taken away from him as Sudiksha was reported missing. He is trying to leave the Dominican Republic and come back to the United States. And of course, he'll need his passport for that. It all comes as the Loudoun County family is now asking Dominican Republic officials to declare her dead, even though her body has yet to be found. Today, we heard from her family for the first time.
Just with deep sadness and heavy. Nana.
This is sad.
And heavy heart that we are coming to the terms with the fact that our daughter has drowned. This is incredibly difficult for us to process. We kindly ask you to keep our daughter in your prayers. We still have 2 young children to care of her.
This is tragic.
That was Sudiksha's family today. The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office also releasing
I just wanted to hear you guys can hear a little bit of
this
that.
afternoon, which in part reads the Sudiksha family has expressed their belief that she drowned, while a final decision to make such a declaration rests with authorities in the Dominican Republic. We will support the Konanki family in every way possible as we continue to review the evidence and information made available to us in the course of this investigation. And
that's sad. Her poor mama, you know. Man, she couldn't even look. It was like she didn't even want to hear. She didn't want to hear that. She didn't want to hear that. But yeah, that's really what it was, Squeaky. Right? Bryn, yeah. And there were pictures of her clothing that was found. I don't know if I could. Let me see if I can find it. Like her clothing and like something else. I think there was like flip-flops or something. Where is it? No, I can't find it, of course. But I did see. Oh, there we go. This is kind of. Okay, is this like a TikTok? Okay, I don't want to do that. It's making me like confirm the objects. Okay, I confirmed it. Go back. Okay, so this is like the best I could find. It's on someone's TikTok, but like right here is her bathing suit cover up. You can see it, and then her sandal like right here. I mean, that's the same shirt. Wish we could zoom into this more. I guess it is, but that looks like lace up here. This looks more of like a ribbed. But anyway, it is probably the same. It's probably her clothes. Oh, wait, are we sure though? Because like, doesn't that look like a black sandal on her foot? Okay, and that's the picture that I saw. It's on TikTok, but that's like it. Like, let's see. Yeah, it's not pulling it up for me. Wait, right here maybe. It says clothing found on lounge chair, but it doesn't have a picture. So maybe that was it. There's like a whole segment on the news, but it doesn't show a picture. So maybe that's not. Okay, no, it's showing it here. But this is like, I've never heard of this place before. It says Sudiksha Konanki's okay. Clothes and flip-flops found at Dominican. Okay, they're not even spelling things right. Beach a week after she went missing. So this place isn't even spelling words right, but they have the same picture. But I want to see her full picture now. Okay, let me go back to here and see if we can find it. Okay. Let me try something. Because now I'm curious. If that was like her clothing or not, you know? I'm assuming that it was. Yeah, the U.S. Mirror, I guess they have it, the Daily Mail. Let me see. This, to me, looks different. Okay. Hold on. What's going on? Maybe it's just the way that the picture is. But let me show it to you guys, and you guys tell me. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not trying to say there is anything like wrong, you know, anything going on over here, but this just looks a little weird to me. So this is her bathing suit cover up. That to me, like, does not look like the same thing she's wearing in this picture. And then this shoe looks black to me back here. But they're saying that's her shoe. Does that look the same as that? I don't know, y'all. I just wish I was like, this looks more of like ribbed, like material. And then the other one looks more of like a lace. Maybe it's just the way that it's sat, put down. It almost looks long sleeve too. I mean, I wonder how many sarongs or whatever they find on the beach a day in the mornings. Probably a couple, I would say. They probably find some stuff like that. I mean, from the night before, you got drunk college kids partying on the beach all day. I'm sure that women leave their, bathing suit cover-ups there a lot because they might take them off in one spot and get in the ocean and then, go down and not realize that, they left their stuff like back, on this part of the beach or whatever. I don't know. That one looks a little different though. Outfit she's wearing there. So maybe it is. Now let's go ahead and watch this. It says here in the Dominican Republic, police don't typically declare someone deceased without finding either a body or evidence of a crime. In this case, investigators have neither. A death declaration without a body would have to happen via special law by the country's Congress or the president. So there's no specific time frame. Yeah, so. And this one says under one provision, a person can be presumed dead 7 years after their absence. And then 7 years if there's a situation where someone was exposed to a specific parallel of death or parallel death. So we might be looking at a long time before they actually genuinely declare her dead. But this is what I wanted to watch with you guys tonight. It's 30 minutes long, 29, 30 minutes, and it just goes over the full case. So thanks for being here. If you guys don't mind just taking a second, hit the like button, hit that thumbs up button for your girl. It does help the channel and it helps send it into the algorithm. More people will be able to watch the video. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hey, Carl.
He's just an ordinary man.
It's a nightmare for any parent. It's coming true after a 20-year-old college student from Virginia goes missing on spring break in the Dominican Republic.
A desperate search underway, but local officials fear it may already be too late.
Investigators questioning a man they say was seen with her right before she disappeared.
This has been an intensive search in the air with helicopters, on the water, and on land as well for Sudiksha Konanki. She is a 20-year-old college student, a junior, a pre-med student at University of Pittsburgh. She was on spring break in the Dominican Republic with 5 of her girlfriends.
What exactly happened?
Trying to locate somebody in the ocean is a huge shot in the dark.
Time is of the essence, and I mean, we were on this right away. As quickly as we found out about it, we were all over it.
The more time goes by, the harder it is to solve.
Dominican police say they are re-interviewing people last with Konanki and deploying 300 agents along Punta Cana's beach, including scuba divers in the water.
More cameras have been checked, both in the location and in the surrounding area.
We want to find her. We want to hopefully find her safe and sound.
We don't know if it's foul play. We don't know if she's a victim of a crime, but she's missing.
An American college student vanishes in the Dominican Republic. A desperate search unfolds, leaving more questions than answers. In the latest development, her parents say they now accept that their daughter has drowned. But if so, how did it happen? And why hasn't she been recovered? Here are the facts as we know them surrounding the disappearance of Sudiksha Konanki. Punta Cana, a hotspot for college spring breakers.
The idea of going to a Caribbean island for even a couple of days draws a lot of people, especially young people for spring break.
For Americans, it's a familiar place. People know that they have the all-inclusive resorts. People can start drinking here at the age of 18.
This is going to be the happiest time of your child's life. And get the worst phone call you ever got in your entire life. The very worst one.
For Sudiksha's parents, that call comes just days after the college junior arrived in the Dominican Republic.
Sudiksha Konanki was born in India and then moved to Loudoun County, Virginia. She has two siblings. We know that she was pre-med at the University of Pittsburgh and then came here for spring break with some friends.
Here is a timeline of the...
Wait, what? Is it me or did that guy look like Chris Watts?
Sudiksha Konanki was born in India and then moved to Loudoun County, Virginia. She has two siblings. We know that she was...
Maybe it was just, maybe I just got a glimpse. Like, okay, sorry guys. I just got a glimpse of this guy and I was like, what is going on here?
Was pre-med at the University of Pittsburgh and then came here for spring break with some friends.
Way better looking. This guy is way better looking, yeah.
Friends.
Here is a timeline of the mystery. March 4th, around 1:30 a.m., the Rebe resort where she is staying loses power.
When the power went out and we were at the customer service desk, there were people waiting in line because they were on the half that didn't have any power, Wi-Fi, anything like that. A lot of people were just sitting outside, sitting in the lobby. A lot of people were charging their phones in the lobby.
While the hotel denies the outage and Konanki's disappearance are connected, it adds to the mystery that is about to unfold.
So the day before she disappeared, on her Venmo account, it appears that she made a transaction labeled Coco Bongo, which is a nightclub here in the Dominican Republic, a very popular place for spring breakers to visit.
Perhaps not much to it. Just a young woman of legal age to drink in the Dominican Republic, blowing off some steam on a once-in-a-lifetime vacation with friends. But it helps trace her steps. Around 2 a.m. in the early morning hours of March 6th, the electricity at her resort is fully restored.
The hotel maintains that their security cameras were working. They have the images to show it and that nothing was impacted in that regard.
Sudiksha and
Hold
her
on.
friends are...
How does if you lose power, how does your camera still work? Unless they're on a different, unless they're on a generator, I guess. I'm about to go ask Vincent.
Seen on security footage in the lobby of the hotel, bellying up to the bar.
After a night of partying and drinking, Konanki and her 5 other girlfriends, arrived at the hotel lobby. And that is when we know that they met up with Joshua Rebe.
He's from Rock Rapids, Iowa, very involved in the community.
She and Rebe, at various points, both appear to be hunched over and possibly vomiting. What some may call an innocent spring break rite of passage.
They bought some drinks, had some more shots, and then eventually they decided to go out to the beach at about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Captured from surveillance video are the last known images of Konanki, a happy young woman in the prime of her life, walking to the beach with her friends and 2 men they met at the resort.
At 4:55 in the morning, we saw most of those friends come back, except for Konanki and Rebe. So that is where the heart of this mystery is. What happened on that beach in front of the hotel after their friends came back inside the hotel at about 4:55 in the morning.
Hours later, just before 10 a.m., Rebe emerges on camera, walking back into the resort. As the hours tick by and Konanki fails to show up, her worried friends contact the local police at 4 p.m.
I wonder if they found his stuff, like his clothing. Did they find his clothing on the beach near her clothing? I'm wondering. They should have.
At this point, she has not been seen for approximately 12 hours. A short time later, the Loudoun County Sheriff in Konanki's home state of Virginia learns about her disappearance.
We became involved in the case on Thursday evening, which was March the 6th, when the father made a report to us about his daughter being missing down in the Dominican Republic. There was no indication as to what happened with her, and I know the dad was really quite concerned, as any parent would be normally under these circumstances. We took a report immediately and immediately began working on this.
In short order, a missing poster describing Konanki as being 5'3" with black hair and brown eyes is plastered across Punta Cana. It says she was last seen wearing a brown bikini, the same one she posted herself wearing on social media.
According to a source close to the investigation, they tell me that Rebe was first questioned on March 7th.
He said that he met Konanki that night, that they were drinking at the hotel bar, and that they went out for a swim in the ocean when they were hit by a big wave while they were kissing.
And according to Rebe, it was big enough to send them out further into the ocean. At that point, he says he had to then try to save Konanki from drowning. In fact, he says he almost drowned himself trying to save Konanki. He put her under his arm and they swam back to shore. At that point, he says the last time that he saw Konanki, she was walking in knee-deep water at an angle along the shore, trying to get the rest of her belongings.
When he
The
asked if
rest
she
of
was
her
okay,
belongings. What do you mean the rest of her belongings? She didn't have anything with her. She didn't. Surely she didn't go out in the ocean in some flip-flops and her bathing suit cover-up. So that wouldn't be in the water. So what was she retrieving out of the water? He said she was retrieving the rest of her things. Like she had just like went over in a kayak and didn't have a wet box and her phone's going everywhere. And like, there's nothing. She didn't have anything. That's weird.
and
He says the last time that he saw Konanki, she was walking in knee-deep water at an angle along the shore, trying to get the rest of her belongings.
Like what? What would she be getting? I'm confused.
when he asked if she was okay, and he didn't hear her response because he was throwing up seawater that he swallowed during that rescue.
Then he says he passed out on the beach. He woke up to mosquito bites and to the sun hitting his face.
We were getting information back from our counterparts at the U.S. Embassy.
At one point, he said that Konanki was walking along the shoreline. Another point, he said that she was in knee-deep water. At some point, he even said that he was a lifeguard, but that he was only really trained to be a lifeguard in the pool and not the ocean.
I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss anything with the interviews, and I didn't want to get information secondhand because we're dealing with the family up here. So that's why I sent my investigators down there. It's like, hey, we got to talk to you. We need to find out what's going on. We need to find out what you know. You're the last person that we know of who was with her. So without you, we really don't have much that we can follow up on.
A massive search now underway for a 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student who disappeared on a spring break trip to the Dominican Republic.
Defensiva Civil, a Dominican Republic-based search and rescue team, has been working around the clock to find her. The organization says they, along with other groups, are working to locate her without much success.
So Dominican authorities have not been very communicative, especially with the international press throughout this investigation. Local media reported initially that it was most likely that she drowned.
And according to our Fox weather meteorologist, this is a notoriously erratic area. The swells that they were dealing with were about 4 to 6 foot swells. So, of course, if you have your back turned against the water and maybe you're not the strongest swimmer and you've had a few drinks, you can see how this could be a particularly dangerous situation.
Given the conditions, it was by all accounts a plausible theory. Hotel guests recount the ocean's ominous warning signs.
The only thing that you can see is just like pitch black, maybe a couple stars in the sky or lights from surrounding resorts farther down the beach. And then you can just only hear like the waves of the ocean. The waves were really big both of those days, even during the day and at night.
I saw those red flag. We went in still because there was nobody telling us anything. It was very rough, but we didn't go out far.
Those same red flags and dangerous currents were reportedly at play just months prior.
4 tourists in January drowned. So that just gives you an idea of the kind of conditions we're talking about. And those 4 tourists drowned in the middle of the day.
As news of the search for Sudiksha spread, many draw parallels to the past.
young aspiring medical student, bright future, and missing from paradise.
My immediate thoughts was, here we go, Natalie Holloway case again.
Yep, that's what I thought too.
In 2005, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed 18-year-old Alabama beauty vanished on the last day of her high school graduation trip to Aruba. Her body was never found.
I was actually a search director. I've directed all the search efforts for Natalie. My name is Tim Miller, and I'm the founder director of Texas X Search, which is an organization that searches for missing people.
He's a good man. He's a great man.
I've been in 42 states, 11 different countries searching for missing people.
Wow.
I went to Aruba 9 different times.
Okay.
And I think we took a total of 156 people over there.
Miller often searched with Natalie's parents, Beth and Dave. One of the lowest moments was at a garbage dump.
I remember Dave breaking down, crying, me breaking down, crying. This is what I had to buy for my daughter's birthday: a ladder, shovel, rope, and being with them, and still get choked up today.
It's hard to not think about Natalie Holloway and what happened in Aruba and just the horrific situation that her family went through.
With all of the twists and turns in this investigation, it's amazing how well Natalie's family is holding up.
At the time of the Natalie Holloway original case, I was running the FBI's international program, which meant I was an assistant director in charge of the 80 offices that the FBI had outside the U.S. and around the world. And I was also on the executive board of Interpol.
Thomas Fuentes was a lead FBI investigator on the Holloway case.
Investigations like this will change, minute by minute if new information comes in. The investigation is fluid all the way through.
This has been an intensive search in the air with helicopters, on the water, and on land as well for Sudiksha Konanki.
Trying to locate somebody in the ocean is a huge shot in the dark. But again, is it possible? It's possible, but it's a slim chance. You've got a huge area of water. So where is the starting
so clear,
point? How far
though.
do you go? And that determines on currents and winds and water temperatures and how deep is it.
As investigators comb the ocean, they don't rule out foul play.
One of the biggest factors is usually time is not on the side of the investigators. They try to accomplish as much, get as much information, get as many witness statements and people locked into those statements as they can, as soon as they can.
Oh God, the first hours and days are the most critical. The most critical is as time goes by, evidence is lost, surveillance is lost, so many things are lost. People to talk to, witnesses that seen anything.
They would be reviewing hours and hours of video. They would be interviewing everybody that possibly came in contact with her, every hotel worker, restaurant worker, driver, bus drivers, you name it, to try to learn more information about her and anybody that was with her.
Her father spoke to her the night before she disappeared. He said everything seemed to be going well on the spring break trip.
Konanki's distraught parents fly to Punta Cana.
The grief the family is feeling is just unbelievable. To not know for sure. I mean, if she drowned, there's been no recovery. If she didn't and she's out there, there's been no recovery. It's just the fact of not knowing.
It's a pain Tim Miller knows all too well. His 16-year-old daughter, Laura, vanished 4 decades ago.
I'll never forget the morning my own daughter disappeared and I reported her missing.
Her body was discovered 17 months later in a place known as the Texas Killing Fields.
Looks just like her dad.
Her killer has never been brought to justice.
In my heart, I knew that Laura wasn't going to come back home alive. I think a parent can feel that.
Konanki's parents came here to the Dominican Republic and really pushed for a...
That's really sad. Tim's a good guy, and if there's one person in this world that like really, you know what I mean, like deserves those answers, it's this guy. He's out there searching for everybody's lost loved ones.
broader investigation and wanted them to
That's
consider the
sad.
possibility of foul play. And that's exactly what happened. The Attorney General's office here in the DR said that they were focusing on all possibilities, including the idea that possibly her disappearance wasn't an accident.
Konanki's father files a record of complaint. He says her phone and wallet were left with friends, which is highly unusual because, like most people these days, she always carries her phone everywhere.
The notice in this case that's been issued is a
So what changed his mind?
yellow notice. And that's basically a glorified missing person. Sudiksha has gone missing. We don't know if it's foul play. We don't know if she's a victim of a crime, but she's missing.
We wanted to make sure that if for some reason she was abducted and somebody had taken her to another country, that when she landed, this yellow notice would be in place and we would immediately be notified.
As for any safety concerns in this country, the State Department has a level 2 travel advisory issued for the Dominican Republic, warning tourists to exercise increased caution in that country due to crime. Also, the Dominican Republic borders Haiti. The State Department currently has a level 4 do not travel advisory in place for Haiti right now, noting that kidnapping there is widespread and U.S. citizens have been victims and have been hurt or worse.
There are sex slavery rings operating in the Dominican Republic, from what I understand. So they're quite naturally looking at that. They're also looking specifically at foul play.
I think it's important that we don't miss anything along the way, that we do everything in our power to really get to the bottom of this, kick over every rock, make sure that we're not missing anything, that we're doing our best to really understand everything that happened that morning.
In this case, she's disappeared and they don't know under what circumstances.
A source close to the investigation tells me that Joshua Rebe was questioned by Dominican authorities about 10 different times. I would also say that same source told me that Rebe's story did change a little bit, and that might actually explain why he sat through 10 different interviews.
We believe some of that had to do with the translation, so maybe some misunderstandings with the questions, language barriers, that sort of thing. But either way, that's why I felt it was so important for us to send our own people down there to get it firsthand, to find out exactly what was said by him.
The more times he repeats the story, and this would be true of any witness, the more times you ask them the same questions, oftentimes the story will differ. It won't be identical the second, third, fourth time they tell it.
Rebe's parents put out a statement saying, despite his full willingness to cooperate, Josh has been detained under irregular conditions and subjected to extensive questioning without the presence of official translators or legal counsel until Wednesday, March 12th. It is also reported his cell phone and passport had at some point been confiscated.
He's not free to go. So that's a custodial situation. That's kind of a huge step. So they're basically saying, you're not free to go. We're still investigating. So we're still trying to get more evidence.
Now, during one of those question and answer sessions that lasted about 4 hours on March the 12th, he refused to answer 8 questions. He says that his lawyers advised him not to answer those questions. Some of those questions were, how do you feel about Konanki's disappearance? Why did you not immediately alert the hotel authorities that Konanki was missing?
He also refused to answer if she knew how to swim or if she made any gestures or attempts to get help during that moment when they nearly drowned. That started raising some alarm bells, and people started applying even more pressure on Dominican authorities. So they really ramped up the search process. They had helicopters in the air, drones utilizing AI technology, and of course, teams in the water and on the ground looking for Konanki. But ultimately, that we know of, they didn't find anything.
Rebe's family rallies around him. His aunt says he wouldn't hurt a fly.
Friends of Joshua Rebe's family releasing a statement in support of the 22-year-old saying, quote, the Rock Rapids community stands behind and supports Joshua Rebe and his family.
Josh has an unwavering devotion to his faith and a genuine kindness towards others.
And they said that he exemplifies all these positive qualities that they're really proud of, both in their church and in their community.
Well, it's not uncommon. We have that all the time. Right away, the neighbors come out, oh, you know, he or she's wonderful, and they wouldn't hurt a fly, and they couldn't possibly be responsible. So that's not uncommon.
We knew several interviews had been done, and again, there were some, what we saw were minor inconsistencies, but we just wanted to make sure we got it right, and that's why we sent our own people there. We were able to interview Joshua Rebe. It was really quite an extensive interview, and he was very cooperative during the interview. My understanding from talking with our detectives was that Joshua did not refuse to answer any of the questions that he was asked.
Do you know if they asked him questions like, can she swim?
I can't get into the exact questions that were asked during the interview. It still remains an ongoing investigation.
According to the State Department, under Dominican law, a person can only be detained for 48 hours without charges being filed. Yet Rebe is under watch for over 5 times as long and has not been charged with a crime. Despite this, DR's Attorney General pays him a visit.
Joshua Rebe faced hours of interrogation over the weekend by the Dominican Republic's Attorney General. Rebe speaking out for the first time in a brief interview after he was approached on the beach by reporters saying, quote, "I'm just trying to help them out," and adding, quote, "The ocean is a dangerous place." So after being detained for days, Joshua Rebe's lawyers petitioned the court saying that they believe that Rebe was being illegally detained and surveilled by police in the hotel.
Authorities insist this is a missing persons case and not a criminal case. Rebe is not a suspect or a person of interest, but rather a key element and witness to the case.
We wanted to clarify that and let people know, like, oh, look, he's of interest to us, but he's not a suspect, certainly not a suspect in a criminal matter.
In what was considered by many to be a surprising twist.
No, that officer, that sheriff, he was like, he's a person of interest. He straight said person of interest. And the Dominican Republic had to come out and say, we don't even have a term such as person of interest. They don't even have that. They don't even use that term over there. That cop, I mean, I know he's just trying to be doing his due diligence, I guess, but he's went above and beyond.
The day before Rebe's first court appearance, Sudiksha's family, who originally pushed for foul play to be looked at, put out a statement basically calling for an end to the investigation.
A massive moment in the investigation as Rebe was holed up in the Rio Republica Hotel, and it seemed like all the pressure was on him. Konanki's parents come forward and say that they accept the findings of Dominican investigators that their daughter most likely drowned. They also said that the person who last saw her, they didn't name Rebe specifically, but they did say that person is cooperating fully with authorities, and they want to start the process of legally declaring her dead so that they can begin the grieving process.
That's a call that the Dominicans are going to have to make based on the information and the evidence they have at hand. That's not a call for us to make. And until an official call is made on that, we're going to continue to investigate this case to the best of our ability.
Cameras surround the courthouse with all eyes on Rebe.
A Dominican judge heard that case in what was a dramatic and chaotic 4-hour hearing in which lawyers from both sides were screaming at one another.
Both Rebe and his father testified, essentially saying that he is unlawfully being detained, that he can't go anywhere. And interestingly, prosecutors here say that he's a free man. They say that he can walk all around the beach at the Rio Republica Hotel and that he's not wearing handcuffs. He's not arrested. He's just a witness in this investigation. But Rebe said, they have my passport. I can't leave. Everywhere I go, I have a police detail. And his lawyers argue that's not what you do to a free man. So the judge ultimately agreed with Rebe and his legal team.
From the outset, our firm was retained by the Rebe family to defend the fundamental rights and ensure compliance with due process.
The problem is that the Dominican authorities still had Rebe's passport. it was confiscated. So there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not Dominican authorities were trying to buy some time, potentially to come up with an arrest warrant or to keep Rebe on the island for as long as they could until they found Konanki's body, so that they were 100% sure that there was no criminality. But in the end, he was allowed to go free. He checked out of the Rio Republica Hotel that night after the judge's ruling.
However, there's this issue about where his passport is. His lawyers claim that they know that the tourism police here in the DR have his passport in their possession, but prosecutors won't admit that.
Rebe applies for a new passport.
Dominican experts and lawyers told us that that would have been the smart move for Rebe. Instead of sitting here in the Dominican Republic, it was best for him to go to the U.S. consulate, apply for a U.S. passport, a brand new one, and get on the next flight out to the U.S. And that's exactly what he did.
Back in the United States,
we are coming to the terms with the fact that our daughter has drowned. This is incredibly difficult for us to process. We kindly ask you to keep our daughter in your prayers.
What has kept you going to try and seek answers for what happened?
We were going through too much pain all these days, and we were saddened, and we were not able to believe this. Sorry, I'm not able to speak anything on that now because our heart is broken. Thank you. Thank you.
In the meantime, the investigation continues, and you just don't know what's going to happen. If authorities find new evidence, that could change things.
Digital forensics are important here. I mean, it's important to know what kind of communications were going on before this all happened and after this all happened, whether it's friend to friend. It's important that we know, and it's important that we get to the bottom of this completely before we make any kind of a final determination. We just don't want to miss anything here. It's too important to presume, assume anything just yet. We want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to get everything right.
Do you all have plans to interview Josh again?
Again, that's a part of an ongoing investigation, and I can't really speak to what our plans are, but aside from the digital media, reviewing evidence and conducting additional interviews, I'm going to have to leave it there because we're still working through a lot of that right now.
So according to investigators, there are no signs of foul play. The investigation, though, is still continuing. And of course, they have not yet found Konanki's body. That will obviously be a huge piece of evidence. That'll be the end-all be-all about where this investigation goes.
Well, the more time goes by, the harder it is to solve, the more difficult it's going to be. If they find the body and if there's evidence of foul play, injury, then that's a different story. But if it's only she drowned, was it an accident? So just finding her or finding her from evidence of drowning in and of itself does not solve the case.
Tim Miller remains at the ready to help with any search at the parents' request. And he says his team will soon have a new member.
Yeah, Beth Holloway. I told Beth that, I was one of the blessed ones because at least Laura's body was found and we have this little headstone we can go put flowers on, knowing they're deceased out there somewhere and never being able to say goodbye. You cannot say goodbye and put your life back together until you have that little funeral, a place to rest and a place to put flowers. Impossible. You have to hold on to hope.
We hope that one day the mystery of her disappearance will be solved and her loved ones will get the closure that they so richly deserve. We thank you for watching.
Oh, they didn't hear back for our update. Closure is part of the grief process. Yeah, and I feel like we've all like you've been, I mean, not like we deserve it, but we've been covering this case, and I would like to see what happened. I would like to know what happened to her for, 100%. She could very well be in the ocean. She could very well have been taken out of the ocean, by Josh Rebe, and maybe she was stumbling, down the beach, and there were, certain people out there that weren't good, and they took her. You never know. You never really know. Or Josh Rebe could be a cold-blooded murderer, but I really don't think that he is. I really don't. I don't think that Josh Rebe really had anything to do with it. I think that with his stories changing, it was probably due to the alcohol, and after them saying translating and stuff, that does sound like it could have been, because it was just like, it was little things that are different, but big enough to where we would question them. So I don't know if it's translation error or what, but he's the only one that can tell us that, and we'd like to hear from him. I would like to hear what he has to say. I think he looks like a good old, country boy, and he could help her family. He could help her friends, and he could help everybody kind of get a better understanding of what happened that night if he came out and kind of told his side of the story, but we don't know. Oh no, Miranda, I could tell you. So basically, we were supposed to be all cool, and I was going to pay her half of what the cost was of like the vet bill. And then she decided that wasn't what she wanted, and she decided to go to the Humane Society and try to get my dog like pretty much taken from me, I feel like. And they didn't take my dog. And I got to go to court on Friday for this dang dog now. But I love her, and I get to keep her. So she's here to stay. My pocket will be a little less full, but that's fine. I regret everything that happened. Everything that happened. I regret that. I wish she wouldn't have gotten a fight, but I don't regret, like, now what I'm doing to protect her and keep her. So, hey, Carl, you still here? Yeah, you can't really judge a book by its cover. You're right, Ladybug. Oh, there he is. You think maybe like weed and alcohol? Could be. Could be. But yeah, that's all that really happened. And one dog snuck in here a minute ago. Look at her leg hanging over it. She's so funny. Oh, and her head's on the pillow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You sleepy? You ready to go get a cookie? Do you want a cookie? She's like, whatever. She's like, if you want to give me one. She's been gotten dog treats all night tonight, so she's probably good actually on them. I'm surprised she didn't get up. She didn't even get up for like nothing. She's just like, I just want to lay here and be with you. That's Mia. That's her name. Mia Grace. She's definitely a Mia. Like her name, I don't know why, it just suits her. It suits her. But yeah, I usually will, when I get off the live, they're usually at the door, and the cat will be there. Let's see. I can't see under the door very well right here, but normally the cat is right there waiting, and it's just funny. Yeah, thanks, Miranda. Yeah, it was, I cried so many dang tears. I told Vincent, I was like, we're going to walk in here and we're going to make sure we leave with our girl. And we made sure we left with her. And I don't know where she's at. She was in here earlier, and then she left me. Now her sister's in here. But yeah, I don't know what that dog would have been lost. She will be lost when when Araya goes. I don't even want to think about that. Especially now. I'm like, and Araya, normally she's with me. Like, she won't leave me alone all of a sudden. Like, she's just like been really up my alley lately. Like, if I'm, if I go out of this room, she'll be in here. If I go out, she'll come out looking for me. And they're cute. They're cute. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. We're going to cover, we'll either cover Idaho tomorrow, or we'll cover something new, or we can cover some more on Grant Solomon's case. We can do whatever you guys want to do. Maybe I'll do a community poll, or a poll in the community tab. I am going to try to do a live on my second channel, or my other channel, which is like my life vlogging channel. Tomorrow, I thought we could do like a cooking live or something. I have this cake. I was going to bake Vincent a cake, and I'm going to bake it. And then if it doesn't taste good, then I don't want to buy more cake products. You know what I mean? But if it tastes good, then I want to buy like the cake pans that you can like put on top of each other, and you can make your like the circle cakes, like the round cakes. Because I only have like a cookie sheet cake, and then like the glass ones, like the glass pans. I don't have a lot of stuff like that. Like my mom didn't bake a lot, and I got a lot of her like old baking stuff. I still have like her old baking stuff. I just thought of that. That's cute. I'm always going to keep those. But yeah, so if it's good, then we'll tell Vincent to try it, because he's like, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna buy cake mix. He's like, why? He's like, we don't usually eat a lot of your cake. And I'm like, why? You don't like my cake? My mom used to love my cake. She used to always want me to bake her desserts. When she got older, she never baked desserts. So I think like when she got older, she was like, oh, well, my daughter, she'll learn how to bake them and make them for me. And I can make a good box cake. So that's what we're going to stick. We're going to start with that. Then we'll go with the whole recipe, once I get it down to a science, because I'm just beginning to learn how to cook again after 10 years. I haven't cooked since my accident. I cooked a lot before my accident. I used to love to cook. And then after my accident, they were like, no cooking, because I was in a wheelchair. Not even microwave food was I able to cook. And then after my mom passed away, I just didn't want to cook anymore, because I cooked for her. Even though I had Vincent to cook for, it was a weird thing, I just was used to cooking for her. So now I want to cook for Vincent, because he the dude loves to eat, and the stuff that he loves doesn't even take that long. So, but thank you guys all for being here. I think it'll be fun. So it'll be over on the Unfiltered channel tomorrow. And I'll put a community tab up and everything, so you guys know where to go. But thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys all on tomorrow night's live. Have a wonderful Monday. I know it's Monday tomorrow, but it's going to be a beautiful day. So have a wonderful day tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark